The Match Ball.
Hello, welcome to the Match Ball. Down here with Michael and Moscow White, Leeds Arsenal 4-1. Brought to you with Levi Solicitors, who will give you a 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Thanks for tuning in. That's the end.
It started all right.
We were all right for half an hour, weren't we? Do you think that we set up to not be that arsed today?
No, I think we set up to try and frustrate him and catch him on the break, which kind of worked. We had the better chances first half. So I think the plan worked. But then when they got the second one, that kind of knackered it.
Yeah, but the game turned on the penalty. Talk us through the penalty, Moscow.
Ayling fell over. Gabriel Jesus spotted that, and he calculated that if he went to the left of him instead of towards goal, then he could probably get some contact off of Ayling's legs. Ayling obliged, little boot to shin pad action, and down he went, and probably this being 2023, that's always going to be a penalty. Bit of a shame. You could tell Luke Ayling's reaction was everything. He just kind of sat there and was like, fine. He wasn't running around. He didn't fully Wolves it, let's put it that way. Just sort of said, yeah, got to give that, haven't you? A bit of pleading. Have a look. They had a look. Nah.
Yeah. I know. My overall takeaway feeling from this game is I hate football. It's gone soft rubbish. But to deal with the specifics around the penalty, I wrote this question down and we discussed it a little bit and we said, we'll save that one for afterwards, and said, would we want that one to be given for us?
We'd want it, yeah.
Would we accept it if it was given for us?
Yes.
Soft though, wasn't it? It's just like, feels a bit unfair because it was so soft.
Well, he wasn't even challenging for the ball at that point, was he? He'd already committed himself thinking he was going to go down the outside of him, and then he checked back inside, but then because Ayling was just floundering around with his legs flapping about, as Moscow said, he just went, some legs there. There's a fair chance one of them will hit me if I go this way. And I mean, it's one of those you look at and you think, in some ways it's frustrating because you think there's no way that contact made him go down in the way he did. And like, if penalties didn't exist, he's 100% staying on his feet there because it's not anything like enough to stop him or probably even to slow him down. But equally, he does kick him on the... I thought it was more of his knee, is it? Or his upper shin or something?
Yeah,
but there's contact. It's always a penalty.
The shin region.
Stupid though, isn't it?
Yeah, you were making the avant-garde point that we could replace the rectangular penalty area with some kind of oval or circular design to represent where you actually score from, because he was going away from goal. But I think the reason was he'd gone away from goal because he realised that was the direction to take. You're going to get a penalty. And there's sort of part of you that thinks, well, that's very unsporting behaviour, that the Corinthian values that we should be playing to are that you should stay on your feet and try to score a goal. But equally, it's been part of the rules for, 150 years or whatever, that you can get a much easier way to score if somebody kicks you in the penalty area and then everybody else disappears and then it's you and the goalkeeper. So it's clever play. And he did well... because Jesus had was it just before that Robin Koch made like a really incredible block tackle on him? And I was thinking, yeah, this is all going to be great. And then suddenly he's dribbling around Christensen and Ayling, and it's probably fair enough that he got something for that because that was good play.
It was before that Don Hutchinson was saying how bad he was and how rusty he looked. That's whose fault it was for the goal.
Don Hutchinson's?
Yes.
Yeah, on the visual radio.
Yes, he was on Radio Leeds, I think, today, wasn't he, Don Hutchinson? Strange booking. I think he lives in America now.
Yeah, I don't know who else they could have got. So,
tactically, it did make sense for half an hour, didn't it? But you get the sense that after half an hour, or however long it was that it took them to score their first one, you're like, well, there you go.
You can be a bit annoyed about what happened after the first goal because we were getting the better chances up to that point, despite playing with effectively a back six. We were still, we were probably more dangerous than Arsenal. And it was working to the point that the Arsenal fans were getting all grumbly and fans TV-ish, and it was all starting to bubble under as if being, what are they, like 30 points clear at the top of the Premier League, and just because they haven't scored for half an hour, they're all getting tetchy. And it's a bit of a weird thing that we didn't. I think we started chasing the game at 1-0 down because I guess you can't just sit back. But the inverse of that is that we had more chances when we were sitting back and defending with 6 than we did when we were trying to score. So there was a strong argument. It would have been interesting to see what happened if we just stuck with what we were doing for the first half hour, keep frustrating them, keep trying to nick chances instead of trying to actually win, which is not things I would have thought I would have been saying about Leeds United a while ago, but here I am saying I don't understand why we tried to win that game.
It was a bit weird, wasn't it, the atmosphere? I know everyone always digs out Arsenal for the lack of atmosphere, but I was thinking if this was us in their shoes, that would have been like a bear pit today, wouldn't it? But was it because it was just a kind of a routine, easy win for them that it never got going? You know, like we're not in any position, given where we are in the league, to start, critiquing other crowds. I just thought it was a bit funny, really. It just sounded flat on the visual radio.
They're planning to restore the bear pit on Cardigan Road.
Are they?
Going to turn it into my public access and then hopefully have like
putting a bear in it,
a statue of one, to kind of represent. I think it'd be a bit unfair to actually make an actual bear go in there.
You live around there, you could do a stint.
Stint of what?
Being a bear.
Pretend bear.
As a pretend bear.
Just put like a furry onesie on.
Yeah, that could happen. So they've got plenty of options. I've not been contacted, but there are. That's on the way.
I was going to say, we should say for the benefit of anybody who's not from Leeds or familiar with the geography of LS6, there is an old bear pit there because there was like a big zoo there years back, wasn't there?
Huge zoological gardens all around Headingley Stadium, where Headingley Stadium is now, where they struggled to get a hot air balloon off the ground several times. That's one of the good stories. It's hard to tell about the atmosphere at the Emirates.
But there's still a bear pit there. We should just finish that thought off.
Yeah, there remains of that, and there's lots of old stone walls and things.
Yeah, no bear though.
No bear.
No, sorry. Atmosphere.
Yeah, it sounded a bit crap, but you can never tell on the old visual radio because it's going through. I'm not convinced that Donald was there in person either, so it's all like a weird sound mix, isn't it? Who knows? Maybe they were, as raucous as they come, those famous Arsenal fans.
You couldn't hear the Leeds fans either, in fairness, could you? It just sounded like they maybe were playing generic crowd sound.
I mean, that said,
sure.
we know somebody was there today, like it was in a WhatsApp group, and said it was very flat in the away end. But is that because we went into it with no expectation? The atmosphere is generally a bit flat anyway. Went one down, you're like, oh, well, we're here for a day out. That'll be that then.
The Johnny Cooper stat is we've never won there, have we?
It's our lowest, rubbishest, worst form ground, I think, as he put it, yeah.
Something like that,
in the world.
So we don't win there. They're obviously a far better team than us.
You could tell something about the way it had gone when towards the end you had forgotten it was 4-1. You looked at the score and were surprised it was no longer 3-1.
It's when we were attacking and I thought, if we get another here, and then I thought, oh no, 4-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Never mind.
I realised my note-taking stopped at 76 minutes when we went 3-1 down. So we pulled it back. Christensen's goal, I didn't bother writing down the 4-1. I've just not jotted it down to remind myself that it is.
It was a header where both Ayling and Rasmus managed to not mark Granit Xhaka at all. They both stood really close to him and just went, save myself for Tuesday.
Yeah, the whole thing.
If I
felt
had it
like
now,
that.
it might hurt. I don't have a headache.
I said mentally, I disengaged with that one, which is when I wrote down "I hate football" in capital letters, soft in capital letters, and then I wrote Sinistera on Martinelli, and that to me was the moment when I thought I hate football. When Sinistera basically put his leg across Martinelli, scooped the ball out perfectly legitimately. Martinelli, old what is it, Slippy Boots he's called, just went down. Oh, what's the point?
There was one at the end of the first half as well.
Yeah, why even get upset by it? It's just crap, innit?
Where Jesus went down under a tackle from Rasmus in midfield.
Needs to keep himself fit for Easter. Big week coming up.
Very good, very good.
Yeah,
He's just chucked himself down and you thought, don't do that.
Yeah, just get up.
It's boring to watch this. But yeah, and it was the start of the second half when it just killed it.
Yeah, that was probably because we were being a bit too gung-ho when we were 1-0 down. And you think maybe if Gracia had got hold of them at half-time and said, stick to what was working for the first half hour, let's just see if that gets us back into the game. But it's like, no, let's just let Ben White score with his horrible soul patch and his stupid name.
He's what, sorry?
His stupid name.
No, before that.
I called him Ben Soul Patch. He's got that stupid little beard thing going, hasn't he? He's got this growth of hair on his chin that he thinks makes him look good, and it doesn't.
And you object to the whole Benjamin Ben thing. He should just be...
Oh, he's just become a pillock since he left Leeds, hasn't he?
And he's tan. It's December. It's not December, it's March. You should have a tan.
It's April, Michael.
Oh, it's April.
It's the 1st of April today.
Oh, actually, no, fair enough. It's summer. It's fair enough to have a tan.
I mean, there's an alternate reality where
Why do I think it's December?
where Ben White signs for Leeds And
That's tickled me, that.
And he has another year of Marcelo Bielsa telling him to be a nicer person. And Brighton have less money because we pay them less for him than Arsenal ended up doing. And everything's different, and I love him. But I don't love him. So, and I don't love... I will have, Harrison's not a left back, is he? So you could tell on the replay that that they talked about on the radio that he was looking to see where Ben White was, and he looked about 3 times, and then as soon as he didn't look, Ben was in, and Harrison's reaction as soon as he scored, he just put his head in his hands, and I think it was partly annoyed at himself that he'd let him go, but then also I think there was just like, I'm not a left back.
Well, him and Rasmus were both playing kind of centre back, full back for bits of the game, weren't they? When we were making that back 6 in the first half, it was quite interesting to watch.
What was going on tactically? Did you pick it apart?
For people, well, I don't know if I picked it apart, but I heard. For anybody who didn't have a radio stream, it was we were sort of 4-3-3, and the 3 in the middle, the midfield 3, was Rocker with Harrison to his left and Rasmus to his right. And then when Arsenal had the ball, which was most of the time, Harrison and Christensen would drop either side of Harrison would go in between Firpo and Strauch on the left, and then Christensen would go in between Ayling and Koch on the right to form like a back 6. And it meant that at some points Firpo would be off marking Martinelli or whoever played on that side, or Trossard, and then Harrison would be behind him next to Pascal Stroik, forming like at centre half. So we effectively had Jack Harrison at centre back at times today. So I don't really have any problem with him letting Ben White score that goal, because
I think he should have stopped him.
Yeah,
it would have been better if he
preferred it if he hadn't done it.
I would have preferred it, but I'm not going to like chase him through the streets about it, because he was playing centre back, and I sort of feel like thanks for trying. Where I'm at.
That's the best we can muster up.
But it's all right. I mean, it's an unusual thing to ask a left winger to do, is to
track his man?
No, to play centre half. And he did it diligently, and it contributed, and it was working if we hadn't have conceded that penalty. So he was doing pretty well at it. So I am grateful to him for his endeavours playing as the new Jackie Charlton.
Indeed.
He never got invited along on Ben White and Calvin's little trips, did he, Jackie?
He's an independent soul. Either that or he's just always with his girlfriend.
Fair enough.
Stats-wise, it was 33% possession we had, 67%, says the Sky Sports app. Did it feel like that much to you? Yeah?
Yeah, we didn't have much, but we didn't... It wasn't bad, though, the first half. It went about as well as I could have expected, did that first half.
I mean, genuinely, I know we're kind of a little bit more than
we did have the better chances.
For half an hour, we were all right,
There was
weren't we?
the Christensen one early on, then there was the one where Somerville and Rocker did a nice little 1-2, and Somerville, if he gets a bit more on that, he can curl it into the top corner. There was another one where the ball ended up hitting someone in the face, but it looked fairly promising at one point. I think Aronson crossed it and it ended up deflecting it at Somerville's face, and it was all a bit. And then Sinisterra, I think, had a back heel shot that may or may not have been offside.
Yeah.
But.
And then there was the one where Somerville played. Harrison ran behind him from centre back, and then he ran into their sort of wide into their 6-yard box, and Somerville's ball sent him a little bit too far, and he had a first time shot that Ramsdale was a decent save. It was decent effort. So those were all. And during that period, although Arsenal were having lots of possession, we were having to do lots of defending. They weren't getting into our penalty area very much. It wasn't like what was that game at Newcastle where Mellier's pulling off loads of saves, and Liverpool away when everything like that game was Mellier man of the match, wasn't it? So it was none of that. It was us just very diligently defending, 6 at the back at times, and using that as a platform to go and try to score some goals. So it's a shame that it's a double shame. One, that it fell apart on a very sort of flimsy looking penalty, and 2, that we didn't find a way of carrying on that way. We probably would have ended up losing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, my first significant notes were around 30 and 31 minutes, where I've got Somerville chance, exclamation mark. Arsenal restless is what I've noted down. Have you got a pubic hair on the mic there,
Just
Moscow?
hairs in
All
general.
right. 31 minutes, Harrison chance, and then they went up the other end about 3 or 4 minutes later, and then that's when it was 1-0, and I've just written the word sake, as in for fucks.
The attack was interesting because I saw the lineup and I did think, he's chosen the international break to get into hard drugs. He's having a good decision. But you could when you saw it in action and the fact we would set up the counter, you can see that Somerville, Aronson, Sinisterra, they're probably 3 of our fastest players, and having them there rather than, I know Bamford, he's quickish once he gets into it, is Bamford, and he can do a lot of running, but he's not outright quick, is he? I don't think. So you could see why that might have been an option for us there. But
Plus Tuesday. There's the eyes on Tuesday, isn't there?
Yeah, that was my natural thought from that was, come on, half of this is all just with Tuesday in mind, isn't it? Look, if you look at the bench, like preserving McKennie,
get some studs on Willie's big boot that he's been wearing around the training ground.
Subs as well, like Koch went off 74 minutes, and I put saving legs and yellow cards at that point.
Yeah.
Like suspensions.
I give Liam Cooper a little, because it did turn into, I think that's why the second half feels quite flat, is that it turned into a mixture of trying not to concede loads of goals for the goal difference and also giving Rodrigo the half hour to help his match fitness. Bamford gets some match fitness. Only Coops comes on and gets some match fitness. So it was all that kind of combination of things. Did McKennie come on?
Yes.
Didn't do much then. But no, I suppose it wasn't really a game to...
he did come on.
Oh,
I think.
No, he did come on.
yeah. So
This is a sort of searing analysis that you get from this show, isn't
Well,
it?
I think
I think he came
Moscow
on.
is right though. I can't remember anything he did.
no,
He must have touched it at some point.
he was there.
That anti-American agenda, yes again.
He was contributing as much as anybody else.
I mean,
it's all right.
You look around at the results elsewhere. So we're talking Bournemouth 2, Fulham 1. Not great. 3-3 Brighton Brentford. No, you're both doing too well. Go away.
Yeah, let's have a really entertaining battle to see who's the best run club in the Premier League.
Pathetic.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Fuck off back to League One, both of you.
To be fair, it is a League One fixture.
Oh, look at us. Haven't we got loads of good players and don't we play lovely stuff?
Idiots.
Pathetic.
Palace and Leicester. I mean, I know Palace scored a last-minute winner there that chucks Leicester right into the mix. Now, with Palace's run-in looking a lot easier, and I'm doing air quotes now, than pretty much anybody else down there, are you prepared to accept Palace staying up and then putting Leicester in the mud?
Well, I'm prepared to accept them winning. There's probably that might have been the perfect game in some ways. Well, I mean, the perfect game is that, if the FA finds a reason to relegate both clubs because of something that happened, that would have been perfect. So the next best thing was Palace winning because they feel more likely with Hodgson and the teams they've got to face to get out of things. And Leicester, I've been saying for ages, I feel like Leicester are the team that could end up just like really getting into lots of trouble and going down. And now they're in the relegation area, so that's good. And then also, but Zaha going off for Palace as well. So they've won this game, but then also lost their best player. So I kind of feel like
They've won the battle, but not the war, Moscow.
Yeah, so it evens out. And Bournemouth...
The Warmer.
The Warhammer, yeah.
Bournemouth winning... Bournemouth's season has been that kind of story of... they keep pulling off these like surprise results and being like, yeah, we've got to get out of it. Who do they play next? They'll lose.
Somebody else.
They play Leicester in a week's time.
Okay, well, I hope they don't lose. That can be
Willie Tomto
draw.
is in the comments. Willie Tomto pointing out that Leicester and West Ham are now in the bottom 3, but with a +2 better goal difference than us, which is a slightly concerning affair. But look, there's a lot of roads still to run in this season, isn't there? And
nothing gets sorted today.
the next 3 fixtures are basically the crux.
I mean, it's almost 2 months of this to go, isn't there? Like, we can't get worried too much.
It is 8 weeks, I think. Yeah,
Everyone's gone
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
like 2 months.
Yeah,
Like Leicester.
I was agreeing with you. Yes, I wasn't correcting you. Yeah.
In Leicester's next 6 games, they play Bournemouth, Wolves, us, Everton in there as well. So every team looks at their fixtures and goes, well,
We've got a chance
it's
to,
in our hands to get out of this if we want. If only we can win some games. But everyone down the bottom is shite.
Yeah, and Palace,
unfortunately.
and Tomto was back in the comments pointing out that Palace have had the new manager bounce now with Voy.
Well, yeah, we know from that Scum fan that they had to win today.
That's true.
Because they've got a new manager. So that's if Leicester's next, they need to calculate if they're playing Arsenal at some point, like to sack Rodgers just before that, so that Arteta can do nothing.
I'm just looking at the 538.com predictions, which I know you love when I bring.
It's really good, yeah.
When I bring this up.
Although it did get a goal to extra point today on the board.
Correct. They have us now having a 20% chance. No, they have us with an 80% chance of staying up, which is good. You'd probably take that one. You're given where we are, finishing on 38 points, they reckon. We've got an under 1% chance of qualifying for the Champions League, so let's not rule that out yet. If we go on a bit of a hot streak. But this has got us finishing 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14.
Yeah. Well, there's loads of games still to go in there. And there's the old Forest and Wolves playing today as well. It was good at what Richard Keys was tweeting, wasn't he, about how...
He's heard about the conspiracy, Moscow.
All the conspiracy and injustice being done against Wolves shortly before their best player spat in the face of Forest's best player and didn't get a red card for it.
So VAR overlooked that. I'll be interested to know how the Wolves fans feel about that. Is it finally they've got one going their way? Is that deserved?
Well, until he gets hit with like a it'll now be who gets banned for longer, him or Mitrovic, is going to be what they'll moan about.
I mean, have you ever been spat in the face of? Have you spat in someone else's face?
Would you like to be?
We definitely had this at some point.
Don't threaten Michael with a good time.
don't kink shame me.
The Gracia's been saying that we tried to be compact and we tried to defend the middle. He said, playing against Arsenal, sometimes you can't decide where you want to defend. You have to run a lot of distance. So I decided to go with these players. I think he was kind of saying what you were saying, that we had the best runners, so that we could, if we did get the ball, we could run away with it for a bit.
Run away with it for a bit. And that's the tactical.
Go and hide
Which
with
what
it.
we did. Don't know how I can't make it more complicated. Okay, then we could transition from the low block into a counter attack into the half spaces. Just run away with the ball and try and score. That's what we were trying to do.
Now you put it in those words, Moscow.
It's clearer now, isn't it?
No, he's delighted with the attitude of his players anyway. We don't have time to complain. And the best thing we can do is prepare as well as possible for the next game, which, to be honest, it looked like we were doing anyway today.
Yeah, the second half was a bit like get everybody warmed up for Tuesday, which is fair enough, and then hope that the other results don't do too much. I mean, it's more about mood with the other games, isn't it, rather than anything else.
Vibes, pure vibes.
Yeah, because we're not in the bottom three, so
Psychologically, that's good.
those teams that are can take their goal differences and swivel
But even if we do,
upon them.
even if we do wind up in the bottom three,
Get out again.
just get out. Yeah, just do that.
Yeah,
We've got the chance in front of us this week to do just that.
Forest and Crystal Palace.
We've got the chance this week to get actual breathing space in 12th.
Yes.
Should we wish to?
Pull away from the bottom three and then just relax, can't we, for the rest of
I
it?
don't feel like it's going to happen though, does it?
Well, of course not, because it's so tight, isn't it, down there, that it's going to take a run from a bunch of from somebody within a bunch of teams, none of whom have gone on a run.
There's no reason we can't beat Forest. I mean, even the goal they scored against Wolves just to open the score in there was bloody awful.
So it doesn't really count.
It was a good finish from Johnson because he's their good player, but the build up to it was just booting it off of a defender's legs and it bounced to him. It's like, this isn't. We can do that.
Kick it off someone's legs.
There was an absolutely awful dive in that game as well, which the Forest players were going mad about, weren't they?
Did we hear that on the?
Yes, I think Don Hutchinson described it really well.
There's been some highlights on the tweets, haven't there? We've seen some clips.
That's it, probably.
That's
yes.
the best.
We had the Fred Elliott commentary on today, didn't we, as well, where it kept stopping. I say it kept stopping and repeating what I just said, which was good. I don't know if anyone else said that one.
Or if anybody else knows who Fred Elliott is.
A man who was killed off on Coronation Street about 18 years ago, probably. Oh, well, sorry if you're listening to this.
Rasmus's goal was good.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good finish.
Like an arrow.
Should talk about that. Precision.
Yeah, it was better than the one he put over the bar, so it was good. He'd learned. First one went high into the stands, and the second one he hit it low, and it bounced in off of some dopey defender.
Peter is asking, how many points have we won in that kit? This could be the last time we see the yellow kit, if my calculations and predictions are correct. I'm going to have to double check. Just converse for a second.
Can't Peter look it up? We're doing this.
I'm doing some live Wikipediaing.
Any other tasks? Is Paul in the comments saying, can somebody go and do my shopping for me? Oh, give us the list.
Matches. Right. So we
One
wore
of those mum's Facebook posts. What time does Asda open?
we wore it at Southampton and drew when we should have won.
God.
When else did we wear it? We didn't wear it.
We were talking about that game earlier because we
Did we wear it at Anfield?
We did know we wore white at
Was that
Anfield.
white?
So let's have a
because
look.
Southampton away was because we used all 5 subs today, didn't we, to get everybody minutes and stuff. And we
Didn't wear it at Spurs. We wore it at
contrasting
Newcastle, sort of, and we drew. Let's have a look. Villa, we wore it at, didn't we? And we lost.
The Podence thing, by the way, just to
Warwick at Forest, lost. Go on.
when you look at Podence, everyone's saying it's disgusting. He's obviously spat at him. The Liam Keane from he was on the video with Nathan. Nathan was the one who was nearly in tears. In fairness, he's not tweeted about
He's
it,
the
but
wolf-
he says it
the
looks
wolf
like he
star.
spits at Johnson. You can't see any spits, but he makes the action with his mouth. So I think that's going to be the next thing.
Like he's blowing on him.
Yes, so he may be unsafe.
Maybe it's challenging him to a game of blow football. Do you remember blow football?
I do. We wore it at Everton and lost. And we...
Everton get a points deduction too. That's the other thing that can happen.
Well, yeah, we're counting on them and Manchester City just to be thrown out of the league, aren't we? That'll be a couple of places.
So we wore it today at Arsenal, obviously lost. Away games left. Fulham will probably wear orange pyjamas. Bournemouth away will be white. Man City away maybe. We'll probably go for the black-orange combo there, I think, won't we? And then finally, West Ham away, they don't have any white in their kit, so probably that's the last time we'll see it and we'll never have won in it.
Good.
There you go.
We've not won much, though, in fairness.
No. But we should do that this week, twice. I think that's...
2 home wins.
Yeah, in fact, we've got Fulham away before we play Leicester at home, haven't we? I'd forgotten about that.
Well, I mean, we could have got something there in the Cup. There's no reason we can't.
Fulham?
Yeah. As games to look forward to.
We'll be on the back of... So what's the fixtures? Next game? Forest. Win. After that, Palace win, and then it's...
Fulham away.
Right, so on the back of 2 wins, we'll just turn it into 3.
And then we've got...
we'll be riding high on confidence.
Fulham are in the... I know normally at this stage of the season as well, you get 8 or 9 teams who are kind of on the beach, nothing to play for. There aren't really any of them this year, other than probably Fulham and Villa. I think they're about the only 2 who are just in the middle going, yeah.
So, just to correct on the fixtures, so we've got Palace at home. Then we've got Forest at home first, because it's in date order, this. Forest at home.
Why is that more confusing?
Because it's in date order in the sense that the Forest game is further back up in the schedule. They've not rescheduled it here on Wikipedia. Yeah. We've got Palace at home.
Yes.
After Forest at home. So that's 2 wins in a week. Yeah.
Yes.
Then we've got Liverpool at home. Should we draw that or should we win that?
No, we'll win that.
Right. So
they got beat 4-1 today, as did we, so we're basically
the same.
Exactly the same.
Beaten them once already, so that's 3 wins on the bounce. Then we've got Fulham away. We know we're better than them, as we showed in the Cup game. 5. Then we've got Leicester at home. 6. Bournemouth away. 7 on the bounce. Then we'll go to Manchester City and we're already safe.
Yeah, it'll be safe by then. In fact, that is a good way of looking at today, because we lost 4-1 to the league leaders and Liverpool lost 4-1 to the team who was second and miles off the top of the table as well. So that we are at least as good as Liverpool on just on pure results against top of the league. So I don't think we should feel too bad about it. And we don't have, Jordan Henderson milling around our midfield, ruining things,
barking things out in Mackham.
Yeah, just being annoying. So,
do you want to know another exciting thing? My favourite stat that you just tried to poke fun at there: a goal equals a point. 760 goals scored in the Premier League now. 761 points accrued.
Fine.
I mean,
fine.
But they don't all accrue to each individual team, do they?
Well, we've scored 36 goals. We've got 26 points. We're actually the second worst performance
you
side
could
in the league.
probably, because this is just averages against the season, you could probably say for every 12 throw-ins you get a goal, and every goal you get a point. So you just need to make sure you get lots of throw-ins.
What are you being so cynical for? You do sicken me sometimes, Michael.
Stupid stats. Shut up.
Fine. Anything else to add before we wrap this up? Or have we kind of exhausted all the hot Arsenal chat there?
Corners weren't very good. Meslier made some decent saves. I thought it was good how Ayling stopped that shot from... He didn't do a repeat of the Wolves one when Meslier had done the clearance, and then Ayling stopped it but made it look as if he was not stopping it. Oh, that was good.
It was an exciting choice.
Yeah, we did some kind of silly walking to try and take the ball, and he couldn't work out if the ball was going in the net or round the side. But I
remember years ago there was a clip of Gaza messing around on a training ground, and he was like, every time he went down to pick up the ball, he'd kick it a bit in front of him, and it's like doing a whole thing about he can't pick up the ball. It looked a bit like that when Ayling was trying to.
West Ham, Southampton tomorrow. What do you want from that?
Injuries.
Injuries, red cards, and a draw.
Absolute carnage and a draw.
And then on to Monday for Everton Spurs. Can Spurs now have the no manager bounce?
No, they've not said they're sticking with Ryan Mason and that other fella, have they?
I don't know.
I think they're still trying to get someone
in for Monday.
No, but I mean for the end of the season. Have they not given up on for the end of the season, have they? I think they've just sort of.
I don't know, but on Monday, they beat Everton because the bad man's gone. That's basically it. And they've had this guy was standing in when Conte was out having his surgery and stuff, and they would like won every game, and everybody was laughing and smiling and joking, and it was great. So it's going to be like that against Everton on Monday. And,
Good news.
so that'll help us.
It's all on Tuesday, isn't it? It's all on Tuesday.
I mean, some of it, because with there being so long to go, you know, we'll still be fine.
I'm not here on Tuesday. That's exciting. So Flora's going to sit in and hopefully keep you two in check anyway.
You should probably have some more interesting fucking stats.
Just about fucking moan on about goals equaling points.
Right, we'll wrap it up there then. Cheers. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you through the week. Oh, thank you.
The Match Ball.